Hey, how would you like a way to put the core systems of your business, the ones that really matter and make all the difference, on a whole new level and do it fast? Would you like a proven way to do that? If so, stick around because that's exactly what I'm going to teach you in this video. Pick an initiative in your business. Maybe you want to increase sales. Maybe you want greater lead generation. Maybe you want better strategy. Maybe you want to put a team of leaders on a whole other level, or you want to create more and better products. Just in your imagination, pick something right now. So now, here is step one. You've got to know the handful of things that must be in place in order for that thing to succeed and to work. This is right out of systems theory. In other words, don't try and fix all the systems in your business. There are some systems, some processes that are the ones that will make all the difference for this initiative to work. Step one is you must pinpoint what those are. I recommend you write them down. Do you know the exact things that have to be in place? You got to know, and you got to have all of them. You know, when I first became aware of this many years ago, was in my speakers bureau. And I had the opportunity to look at speakers who were the best of the best because we'd hire them and then we'd send them work. And what I noticed is they were good on all the levels that they needed. In other words, they were good at the speech. They had a phenomenal keynote. They were good at the relationship and communication with me, my staff, and with the companies that we would refer to them in conversation. They were good at the sales process. If we put them in touch with a client, in 2 minutes, they'd snapshot their presentation and the client would call and say, we want them, how much? Now I have a speaker, I won't say her name, that we basically have marked dead in our database. Her career is kind of basically nowhere. And she has a phenomenal website. 10-star endorsements. She's a phenomenal speaker, but she doesn't possess one of the handful of skills to make it work. We sent her, interview after interview. She couldn't present herself to save her life. In other words, she can't sell. So, as a speakers bureau, we just marked her dead in the database. Contrast that with somebody who had all the skills. One of my top sales presenters, if I send him 4 leads, I say, hey, here are 4 companies that want a sales presenter. He'll close 4 out of 5, but not just the sales. He also has a great communication style. He has a great presentation. In other words, the people at the top of any industry have the key components. They have all of them. Why don't we do that? Why don't we have all of them? And the answer is really in this example of the speaker who doesn't have it. She's phenomenal. Her website's phenomenal. Her speeches are phenomenal. But she's not very good at the selling. But here's the problem. She won't step out of her comfort zone where her ego gets boosted into a place where she's not very good. She won't step out of her comfort zone. I made an entire video about stepping out of your comfort zone and how important it is. Please check it out. Because, check it out, she can't succeed in her industry. Oh, I'd love to book her, but it's a waste of time and money. This is a consummate example. This happened years ago, and I thought, this principle is the people who are succeeding in their careers, in their industry, in any initiative in your business, you have to know what that confluence of things is, and you got to nail all of them. One example would be in sports. One of my favorite people, Andre Agassi, I've modeled, and Roger Federer. And I love Federer because he's such a gentleman on and off the court. Well, world-class performance, think about it. Federer has every single component that has to be there. The serve, the backhand, the return of service, the physical conditioning, the mental conditioning. I don't play tennis, but I know what these are, right? And I like to watch it occasionally on TV. But think about it. At the world-class level, they not only have all the core components that must be in place, they have them all at a level 10. So step one is pick an initiative And then what I'm going to encourage you to do, you can put this to the test right now. I've literally coached people to more than 10x their sales and revenue and big breakthroughs with this process I'm teaching you right now. This is a how-to video. So pick an initiative that's important to you and do everything you can to find what the essential elements that must be in place to make it work. That's step one. Step two in the process is to rate these handful of things on a scale of 1 to 10. That's what I recommend doing. Essentially what you're doing is assessing them. And the reason I say 1 to 10 is that at level 5 or 50%, that would be or represent the minimum amount that this resource has to be at, this part of the system, in order to be good enough. So for example, I give the example of a speaker in my speakers bureau. She's not even good enough at sales for us to say, well, let's send her leads. Let's send her some work. So that would be below 5 if she were to assess the handful of things that is necessary for her to succeed. So step 2 is rate all of those things on a scale of 1 to 10, or if you want 1 to 100, and 50% or 5 or less means it's not good enough. 5 means it's at the minimum level, it's good enough, it could be better, but at least it's good enough, okay? And then anything above 5 is excellent. All 10s across the board is what world-class people are at, the level, in any field of endeavor, any epistemology, whether it's sports, medicine, science. They know the core things that are, in a sense, the key factors for success in your industry. Could be an example, but we're drilling down to the things in a particular initiative like sales or marketing, branding, or whatever it is that you've decided you really want to put on another level. So step 2, assess where they are and know which ones are below 5, because the system won't work unless they're all up to the minimum level of efficiency. Okay, you know the things you've got to have in place. You know which ones are below par, which ones are better. Step 3 is to use a phenomenal principle called the theory of constraints. So I'm going to cut out all the fat and show you how to apply this here. The theory of constraints says that in any system, one element is holding back the most other things. And the system, the output of the system, and it could be sales, marketing, it could be anything, team performance, any system, it'll be limited by the constraint, by the weakest link, and it can't outperform that weak link. As an example, let's say you had a chain of links of solid steel, but one link is a rubber band. If you pull out that chain 1,000,000 times, where's it going to break every time? At the rubber band. What's the output of the system, the chain? What's the strength? Is it one of the steel links? No, the output, the strength of the chain is the rubber band. But here's what's magical about the theory of constraints. Pinpoint the constraint by asking, what's holding back the most other things? But now here's the real gold. It's not enough to pinpoint it. It's not enough to put resources on it. Here's the mistake people make. They spread their resources around. That's weak. We got to put resources on that. And they do, but they never put enough resources to turn that rubber band into a solid steel or titanium link. So here's the secret. It's right from the principles of strategy. One of the principles of strategy is called economize to mass your resources. It kind of comes from military strategy, but it's more than military. It applies to any system. So here's what you do once you've found the constraint. Economize, which means cut back to the bare minimum you can do responsibly and right that works, but no extra. And economize so you can have time, money, resources, time, attention. Name 50 resources. All of them, you mass them and focus them on the constraint. Why? Here's what happens. That rubber band turns into a titanium link, and just like that, the whole system quantum leaps. And literally the output of this system, this link of chains, would be the next weakest link, the next constraint. But it might be 20, 40, it might be 100 times the output of that rubber band. It might be one of the steel links. I've literally helped companies 10x, 20x, and more with this single pattern, because your company is a set of systems. One is holding the most back. Stop spending money all over and deliberately economize. Find that constraint, economize, and focus resources on it. Once it goes up, and then the next limitation is the next constraint. But that could be 10 or 20 fold the output of sales, of revenue, of team performance, and so on. So this step is all about find that constraint and then set up a plan to economize or cut back or collect resources and, keep things running that have to be there, but deliberately concentrate resources on the constraint. And this is a game changer. The final step in this process, step 4, is simply to stay on it. Like bring all the tenacity and stamina. And with stamina, I define as get in there and get in there and get in there. Like Pomodoro it on steroids. Don't stop. Go back in. Take a break. Go back in. Keep focusing resources on that constraint. Stay on it. Be consistent. Stay focused. Don't drift off. If you keep doing this over some time, sometimes a surprisingly short amount of time, that constraint, because now you've concentrated resources on it, transforms and now it goes up and the whole system quantum leaps. But it takes this stick-to-itiveness a little bit. And I got to tell you, that's how I've done this for clients. So you now have a proven 4-step system for process that is really a formula for taking any objective, any major initiative in your company, or even a place where you're stuck or you've hit a plateau, and using systems theory, which is really permanent, infinite, lasting principles that never change, and applying them. So you might want to replay this video, write this out, set up a plan, and schedule these actions, because this can put your business in one fell swoop on another level. And what I love about it is it'll quantum leap you as a business owner, which is one of my themes. And that is you'll be dealing with systems in an entirely new way if you do these 4 steps. Guarantee it. By the way, if you'd like my help and my team's help on putting your systems at a whole new level, putting your mindset on a new level, building the skills that you need to take your company and yourself to a whole new level of entrepreneurship, and spending more time in flow and momentum where burnout doesn't happen, so you just live a resilient life running your business and design your business so it gives you more and more of your dream lifestyle, please just go to alexandervanburen.com/apply. Hey, I want to inspire you and encourage you to grab some of the resources. I'm going to drop some links down below. The first is the new scaling mindset. It's the 5 mindset shifts that act as super catalysts for growing and scaling your business. I also have a program called the Workflow Optimizer. I've literally taken scaling a business and broken it down into some of the singular skills, and I put them into little micro courses so you don't have to spend a lot of money. You don't have to sign up for a big high-ticket coaching program. You don't have to build an operating system. All you have to do is build these skills a little bit one at a time. They have a money-back guarantee, 30 days. If you don't get results, let us know. We'll give you your money back. The first one is all about optimizing the workflows in your business, and the other one is even more amazing. I take the mindset shifts to the next level, and then I added the actual fundamental skill for scaling of being able to identify the finest opportunities for scalable growth that exists on the playing field and the board right now for you and your company. Think about having these 2 skills. So, it's unique. I think growing and scaling can be really overwhelming, and what I've done is break it down into bite-sized chunks. You can focus on it. You could probably do this first micro course in a week, the second one maybe 2 to 3 weeks, and you have 2 of the most important core skills for scaling a business, and it's just that simple. So check out the links below and enjoy.